welcome to the Pulse of Nigerian Politics right here on Morning Pulse. My name is Sharon Enemchukwu, and joining me in the studio, as always, I have with me Ifoma Oji. Good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning, Sharon.
How are you doing?
I see you. You're looking beautiful. I'm fine.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank
I
you.
love the dress.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Also joining us via Zoom, we have our political analyst extraordinaire in person of Mr. Oladimeji Oluwafemi. Good morning, sir. How are you doing?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, guys. How are you doing today?
Oh, we are good.
Day?
Yes, it is. Anyways, we'll be going straight to the stories that we have for today. But breaking news: Siminalayi Fubara will today resume duties as governor of Rivers State, following the month emergency rule imposed on the state President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And what I want us to start first, before we move on to the next story, it's really interesting has been going on in Rivers State politics for some time now, you know, with the emergency rule, the fight between Wike and Fubara, the oil fight for the oil-rich states. Is just really interesting to see. And now finally, that's 6 months emergency has been called to an end. It will end this midnight, according to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and Fubara will be reinstated as governor, with the sole administrator Ibas handing over to Fubara. But Mr. Oladimeji, people are saying that he should have he resigned instead of returning, because now he will become a puppet in the hands of the ruling party. Do you agree?
Sharon, can you please take that question again?
No problem. I'm asking, okay, because of what has happened now, some people are suggesting that Governor Fubara should have resigned and not returned as governor of Rivers State. But now, saying that he is returning, people feel that he will be a puppet in the hands of the ruling party. Are you of the same school of thought, sir?
Perhaps I was the one who propagated that script.
Oh.
Yeah, sincerely, Fubara should have resigned. But alas, Fubara is a Nigeria politician.
Yes.
And politicians don't resign in Nigeria.
Oh.
This is through their time.
Yes, it's true. To be honest, if you notice it, politicians hardly resign. I can't remember a politician except except for I'll make an exception for former President Goodluck Jonathan, who didn't actually resign, but he sort of stepped down and hands off politics because of
he was impeached.
He did not step down, did not resign.
Yes. So I'm just saying that I would give an exception to the former President Goodluck Jonathan. But if you really look at it, I've not seen, or I can't remember any politician that has actually resigned. It's really interesting to know. Anyways, now, Ifoma, are you also of that school of thought?
Well, if I'm to say anything here, I think what has happened in Rivers State is we're seeing APC have finally colonized, Rivers State, and the what is his name? Wike has finally, implanted, or rather planted, his loyalists in that distance. So the people, the assembly, the deputy, the governor, they are just puppets. So yes, he would have just resigned to maintain or keep his dignity. But at the same time, maybe he will equally work on, building up that dignity, like we discussed yesterday or 2 days ago. It's time for him to go back to the people, because I think at this point it is, apart from him fighting to regain his stance in Rivers, the people still need to, fight alongside, him.
We had this conversation before, and a lot of people brought their various opinions. Anyways, we are watching and we are paying close attention to the politics happening in Rivers State, and we are going to see how it all pans out. Now, moving on to the two major stories that we have. First, in August, the federal government, the states and local governments shared a total of 2.2 trillion naira in revenue. The funds came from oil sales, taxes, and other national. This is one of the highest monthly allocations in recent years. Second, the government said has disbursed 330 billion naira to support 8.1 million poor and vulnerable households under its cash transfer program. Now, each household reportedly received 25,000 naira, totaling about 202.5 billion naira in actual payments so far. So they have not completely disbursed the original amount, which is over 300 billion naira, but they have given out 202.5 billion naira. Now the big questions are, how impactful are these allocations and payments? Are they helping Nigerians in real terms? And how well are the funds being monitored? Now we are going to start with the allocations, 2.2 trillion revenue sharing for the states and local governments. And there is a video I would want us to play where the president was addressing people, and he made mention of the fact that people are not holding local government chairmen accountable. They are not holding governors accountable. They are always on the neck of the president. That is from the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Whereas he has allocated funds to these people, he has given them their dues. He has paid them their dues in his own words. And we are still seeing undeveloped projects, exactly, especially in the local government. So let us take a look at this before we give our comments.
Country. And given them.
Take a look at this video of President Tinubu.
Yes, I am in charge here today, but you are running a constitutional democracy. And we are put to you to summon the governors. Some of them, call them up. I'm doing my best to improve the revenue of the country and giving them their due. But they must equally be sympathetic to the populace, and they must consider the need of the local people. People reside in the local government. People are in the local community. That is where they reside. That is where they feed. That is where they garden. That is where they cook. That's where they farm. We have 774 local government. It's just a number. Is it effective? Is it reaching the real people? Who is being held accountable for this money? And when we want the votes, we go to the locals. When we get the votes, we move to Abuja.
I've just seen this video from President Bola Ahmed Tinubu addressing the public and asking that they hold these local government chairmen and state governors accountable. But let us also take a look at the comments on X so that we can feel the pulse of Nigerians as regards that particular video. All right, just move on from that. I want to ask you now, Ifoma, concerning the allocations, what President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has come out to advise Nigerians. Can you give us, first of all, a breakdown of the 2.2 trillion naira revenue and its allocations and all of that before we move forward?
Okay, so we are talking money matter, right?
Of course, it's money matter. Always.
Yeah, so according to the report here, 2.225 trillion naira came into the federation account and was shared between the federal government, the state government, and the local government. And according to the report, so they said the revenue increased by 11.2% over July. It was not the same thing with July that it increased, and these revenues we are gotten from non-oil sectors. Now I'll break it down. According to the report, so it states that the sources of this money was gotten from statutory funds, which has to do with taxes and royalties. And from that taxes and royalties, that is the statutory funds, they generated 1.478 trillion naira. Now, according to the VAT, they generated 172.903 billion naira. And then from electronic money transfer levy, they generated 32.338 billion naira.
Interesting.
And from exchange difference, they generated 41.284 billion naira. And the statutory revenue, they splitted it, and according to the splitting, the federal government got 184.462 billion naira. The state was they disbursed to the state 347.168 billion naira. Now local governments got 267.652 billion naira. Now oil producing states, they got 13%. That's their own disbursement was more than other states. According to them, they got 100.935 billion naira. Now the states in that oil sector got 336.452 billion naira. Local governments got 235.516 billion naira. Now what this means is that, let me just explain it in a layman understanding. Please. Yes, briefly. It's more like a basket, Nigeria having a big basket whereby all this money is revenue from non-oil sector, including oil sector, is being thrown into that basket. And from that basket, a lot of deductions were made from that basket. And then from that same basket, apart from the deductions, the remaining balance, which is now at 2.22 trillion naira, was now distributed to the government, the federal government, the state government, and the local governments. That is basically more like the breakdown of what this entails. Now, as regards the video that the president was saying that we should hold the governors, the local government chairmans, and rest accountable. And I want to ask Mr. President, you're saying we should hold them accountable. I think you are supposed to first of all hold them accountable, because there's a problem in Nigeria, a situation where you say you make the headline that you've disbursed funds, and at the end of the day these funds were mismanaged. So are they monitoring teams that you are setting to make sure that these monies that you've distributed get to the appropriate authorities or the states? And what are these the policies that you are equally implementing, that the projects that these governors and the local government chairman are bringing forth to the table, that they make sure that all those things are being accomplished? Are they watchdogs that are checkmating them? Those are the things that you don't just come out in the public. I love the fact that he was passionate about it, that we should hold them accountable. But I think first of all, we should hold you accountable. I love the fact that, I mean, you've diversified revenue generation. It is beautiful. But at the same time, Nigeria is still depending, solely on the oil sector. If investment starts declining, if a lot of, sources of revenue starts declining, what happens to Nigeria?
No, I hear you loud and clear. From at the end of the day, it seems as though he was giving us the job of his office. Exactly. He wasn't supposed to be. You have given out these allocations, but there are no watchdogs, in your words, to actually make sure that these allocations are implemented, or that the reports that they drop on your table have actually been executed. Now, coming to you, Mr. Oladimidin, do you think that, especially for August, 2.2 trillion